It's here, it's here. We got it. We got it. We got it. I can't believe we have it. It's finally time. Elden Ring, it's here. It's here. After all this wait, I could be holding the greatest game of all time in my hands right now. All the perfect scores it's been getting. 9.7 on Metacritic. It could be the one. The holy grail of video games. Let's play it.
What is up, everyone? Stevo Supremo here, and yes, we are talking about some Elden Ring today. I have just been pumping hours and hours into it, and I just wanted to get a first impressions out there just to let you guys know my take on the game, how I'm feeling with it, because I'm gonna be honest, right now I have almost 40 hours into it, and for those who have played it, I only got 2 of the great runes, if that gives you any indication of how much more I have to go. There is a lot more for me to do. So without any further ado, let's get into it. What do I think of Elden Ring? I think it's incredible. It's amazing. It might go down as the greatest game of all time for me. No joke, just from the intro I was kind of poking fun at, but it's amazing. It's the sense of discovery I've had in this game is just like one, like I love Metroid, but that sense of discovery is here in this game. It's incredible how they've captured it in this open world, Western RPG type of style that we've grown to love with the Souls franchise. It's anyone who's been a fan of this series of games, you know what you're getting into. It's this new crowd who seems to have like, wow, this game is really tough. Like, people are new to this game. I mean, the Souls games have been out there, but I'm seeing a lot of new faces jump in who really didn't know what they were expecting or getting into. And it's been some ups and downs and bumps in the roads for them. But for those who have been here from the beginning, from Demon Souls and Dark Souls, I don't know what more you could ask for. This is like perfection wrapped in a game for me as far as a Souls game. It's this huge, massive world that you are trying to play through. It's incredible to me how I'm running through this thing and there's no load screens for it. The only time I get a load screen is when there might be a certain boss fight that you go to, that you click, that it has to teleport you to their world, and that is like it. But other than that, these massive interconnecting bodies of land you can just go to seamlessly. Now, I am playing on PlayStation 5, so I know there have been some issues with the PC version, and you know, I feel bad for anyone who's trying to play on PC, but I mean, that's why the first game and other stuff took forever to even get to PC. It seems like From Software is console specific, and that's where you should play them on if you have the chance. And I'm playing on PlayStation 5, and I have run into no hiccups whatsoever, no issues. Maybe once in a blue moon when I'm turning the camera, the frame rate will like jump a little bit, but it's something where I don't even notice it. So it's been no issues at all. And visually, graphically, it is gorgeous. Look, any game coming out these days looks really good anyway. I know Horizon Forbidden West just came out, and that game looked gorgeous from what I saw, but it is just, this game blows my mind. It's the first time I've been actually, instead of just running through areas to just get to that next enemy and kill them and get their runes from them, I've really stopped and taken in scenery and the stuff around me and the little details that they put into areas, especially in a Souls game. There's details in just the environment itself with how you're navigating your way through it. I know Vatavidia just had a video on his channel talking about going through a certain area in the game and just how walking through that area is telling the story in itself. And it's amazing. It's incredible. So it's again, it's that sense of discovery and storytelling in this game that I just really haven't had. Right now, you're seeing gameplay footage of me just discovering one of the many caves and catacombs that you can just happen to come across in the game, that most of the time at the end of it has a boss at the end of it who can give you a reward for beating it. And these are scattered throughout the lands. And there's no hint or direction on how to get there. So it's just like these obtuse things that Dark Souls is known for. And I've loved it. Just walking around, discovering anything. You don't have to follow the beaten path of where the story wants to tell you to go. Now, you will hit some hiccups in some areas where it's going to block your progression unless you do take down a certain boss that's mandatory for the game. So it will kind of restrict you there. But other than that, it's very, very open. It is huge. So it's just been great. I've loved it. It has the same tried and true Dark Souls combat system, except like with a standalone jump button now, that they have thrown platforming in this game now without having. I remember the old school controls, holding down circle to run, then hitting it again to jump. It's been really nice to just have a jump button now, because it's been really creative with the level design, giving it even more depth now of how to explore, traverse, and how they can lay out these dungeons for us to go through. So it's been a blast. But they've also had some new additions with these Arts of War and these spirit summonings that you can get and unlock. And it's just so, it can seem overwhelming, but it just all makes sense. It gives you tutorials once you find something and click on it, and explains what they do. But you're just finding gear to fit your build, finding talisman that kind of fit your build, and you just go from there. Right now, I'm playing as a sorcerer for the very first time in any Dark Souls game. I've never played a sorcerer, and that's what I decided to start off as in this playthrough. So it's been like a brand new Souls experience for me, just because I've never played a character like this. I've had faith builds before, but never sorcery. So it's been very interesting being the squishy little target. So if I get one or two hits on me, I'll be gone. But it's been fun trying to learn this new play style, how to play through the game like this. And I can't wait to kind of switch up when I do my next playthrough and do some classic sword and board, or just two-handing a weapon or a great sword or something. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to with this game, with all the possibilities they've added with these new skills with the Ashes of War and such. It makes it for many builds that you can go out there and experiment with. And it's teasing me because I'm picking up some of these weapons that I wish I could use. And I'm like, nah, I can't use this one, but man, this would be a fun one to use if I was a strength faith build. I think I had picked up a sword that had like 60 something faith in it and a lot of strength. And like, man, if this ain't for a paladin, I don't know what is. So anyways, it's just been awesome. Like, thinking of the future of other playthroughs I could do with it. But even now, like, I'm just enjoying it as a sorcerer build. But again, visually great. And the music, just this ominous background noise that they have in certain levels. It could just be this like kind of high pitched, not really screeching sometimes, but just this ambient noise going. Doesn't need music banging all the time, and sometimes it's just real quiet to really set the mood when you're in one of these caves or something. But when the boss is there, when that music picks up and you are in that fight and the intensity builds up, just Dark Souls always just has wonderful music, and this hasn't disappointed me at all. And I've actually really been impressed kind of with the storytelling and the side quests and stuff, how it works in this game. There are massive side quests that you can go on in this game that, like any other Dark Souls game, that can lead all the way to the end with certain characters. We all know the storyline with Solaire from Dark Souls, and there's been some really cool ones in this game. And I know George R.R. Martin, very key in doing the storytelling in this. And I've never read any of his books. I've watched a little bit of the Game of Thrones season 1, but that was about it. I know nothing about the guy's creativity and writing or anything. But sure enough, it seems like it fits perfectly within the Souls type of franchise, and I'm looking forward to seeing where a lot of these side quests and this how the story goes. So it's been everything about this game has just been surprising. So I was gonna admit I was really worried about the difficulty myself coming off Sekiro and how much of a struggle that was for me. If you guys watched my previous videos discussing anything about that, but finally conquering it meant a lot. So it was awesome to actually conquer that game. I'm like, man, the Souls games are getting even more difficult as time goes on, and I was getting worried, like, man, can I get through this one? But so far, since it sticks more to it's the Souls style combat, I do really well in this type of system, I guess, over the Sekiro. So the dodging in this, it feels like your window it's very forgiving again for any newcomers. It's always best to kind of dodge toward, or at the last second you get like this invincibility frame window it sees where you can dodge roll through anything. So just make sure you have that equipment load down to where you can give yourself a nice solid little roll so you can get out of trouble if you need to, and you should be good to go without even taking a hit in a fight if need be. So it's been really cool, even as a mage type of build, going in these one-on-one fights, and I'm just being pretty nimble and dodging everything and shooting out a spell. So one thing I will say, from the point I'm at in the game, I had found a pretty nice magic-based weapon that scales based on my magic, and it seems like my sword is scaling better than actually using my spells, which is weird because I want to use my spells and not the sword. That's the kind of playthrough I want to go through on this first run. But the sword's getting pretty strong, so it might be switching up to sword and board anyway here. It's halfway through, so we'll see. But again, like I said, I've just been walking through like this part here, just taking in scenes, seeing what's happened to some of these dead bodies and soldiers. That's what I'm really kind of soaking in this time around, is soaking in everything, which is what's taken a long time to play it, which I'm fine with. I've heard that 70 or 80 hours normal is what it's going to be for this. So now let's kind of touch on some of the newcomers like coming into the game. And it's been weird with again, the Soul series. One that if you're there from the get-go, I mean, like I said, we've all been looking forward to it. We know what we're getting into. But some of the new faces who I've seen giving it a try, it's been pretty entertaining. At the same time, it can be frustrating because you're like, man, sometimes people just don't understand. Like, man, these people don't understand why we like this or what's going on. I know I'm a big fan of Dr. Disrespect, and I've been watching him do his little playthrough. But of course, this is his very first Souls game. So, of course, he's clueless to how to really get into the combat and stuff at first. But you can even see with him, as time went on, he progressed more and more and got better and better. And that's just what this game is. Like, it's about working on it, putting time into it to get used to the systems, to get used to the combat, and understand what's going on. And I can understand, for a new person coming in, it can be tough to, well, what does this item do? Do I even need to use this item? How do I heal? Can I use spells? How do I even equip a spell to use it? So, a lot of stuff with the Souls games can be, like I said, a bit obtuse and get kind of crazy. But I don't think there's ever any harm in going up to just look up simple things like how to do that. it won't spoil the game for you to go up like, all right, how am I supposed to where heal things? Where should I equip this? If you're very new to the game and you don't know how build points and everything works like that, look it up to see what kind of direction you want to go. That way you're not throwing away all those valuable runes and just getting it wasted to a skill point that you're not going to use. And again, like with Dr. D, he was just sitting there. The first day was rough for him, but he'd make a little bit of progress and it'd put that smile on his face like, okay, there's that satisfaction of getting through something. And the second day he kind of streamed it, he really improved. He was taking down some bosses and everything, and it was awesome to see. I felt good watching someone who was new to the series finally overcome that hump and that obstacle, because that's what it is. Like, there's obstacles everywhere, and it's all about overcoming them. And other people, they don't see it. They don't know why we get into it or what's going on with the difficulty. And I'm going to have a whole video coming out about difficulty in video games and kind of controversy with those, if there even is any. And I think kind of a hot take here, and it's not really to take shots at people, but there's big YouTubers out there who I think felt like they need to cover this game because it's got so much hype behind it and it's so big that, all right, I'm going to play it to give my impressions on it and give coverage on it. But I don't want to sound too bad on the game because I don't want my fans to hate me or anything or look at me in a different way, or they want to kind of trash on the game mainly because they're not good at the game. So let me trash it because I'm not good and I'm not having fun. And hey, that is perfectly fine. You're more than free and welcome to express your opinion. But I think a lot of them are doing it because, I don't know, you have such a massive following that I can't let my audience think I'm actually not good at playing video games. Listen, there's no shame in not being able to complete a video game, especially a Dark Souls game. And I think that's where some of them come from, is that I'm going to lose gamer cred if I can't beat this and show them. So I'll just hate on it and tell them how not fun and how bad it is, just so I don't lose that. So people still think I'm good at games. You know, Dark Souls isn't a Mario platform or anything, but every other game can have difficulty in its own rights. But we all know how the Souls series and franchise is. Again, I could be wrong, but I think some of them are just trying to save face and do stuff like that, just so people will still keep coming to them to watch the reviews and everything. And you know, all you, man, do you. So, kind of a hot take there, but someone's got to be honest about some of these things. But that's not to say that I could just be sitting here and just gushing about the game because I've been a fan of the series for a long time. Hey, I told you guys how I felt about Sekiro. It was not for me. I had put it down myself and moved on until I went back to it and really put the time into it and learning the game. So I know Dr. Disrespect also made another good comment during his playthrough the other day, and he's like, you know what, seems like I'm wandering around wasting time. Like, what is my point here? I'm just wandering around wasting time. And you know what, he kind of has a point, but it's like, are you having a good time wasting that time? Because then he said 7 hours flew by in an instant, like he didn't realize it. So you were wasting time, but something had you there because it was pulling you into wanting to keep on going and play for 7 hours straight. So it's just something about this series it'll have a pull on you, and it wants to bring you in and keep you there even through the frustration. You're like, why do I keep trying this? Why do I keep putting myself through this? It's because of that moment when you actually overcome it and you're like, oh, there it is. This is why I'm doing it. And then you get to that next obstacle that just shut you down. So that's just how the games work in this series. So we'll see. I've hit my wall on some bosses in here too. I'm currently in an area now where it's like I get stubborn. I'm in an area I have wandered into that I was not supposed to be in yet. You can tell, like, just from how strong the enemies are, what level the another good indicator in this game is where you should be is like the smithing stones you use to upgrade your weapons and gear. If you're in a starting area where smithing stones are level 1, then level 2, then you get to an area where it's 3. But if you haven't seen a smithing stone 3 or 4, then all of a sudden you find yourself in an area where you're picking up smithing stone level 5, then you've wandered into an area you probably shouldn't be in yet. Just from based on the items you're picking up. So that's kind of where I had wandered into, but I'm like, you know what? I'm sticking through it, and I'm going to beat this boss in here. Even though I'm not even supposed to be in here yet, I'm going to do it. And I actually did it before in a previous area, and I plan on doing it again in the one I'm at. Just because I'm stubborn and hard-headed, but this game allows you to do it, so I want to give it a try. And if not, you can always just go back to where you're supposed to go, level up, and do it from there. So I don't know. I've gone on multiple little rants here. This was supposed to be a first impressions, and it's going way too long. So I'll wrap it up and just say, like, in conclusion, like, I'm loving it so far. When I'm finally finished with it, I will do a final thoughts video on it. I know I rambled a lot in here and didn't go over a whole lot of the stuff as far as, again, I touched on some of the combat aspects and stuff in the world, but I have loved how you can just fast travel from all your different grace points in this game, which have replaced bonfires. That's another great addition to just make travel around this world rapid, because it is huge. Combat again, loved it. Love finding all the new gear and loot. Loving the storytelling, loving the music, loving the environmental design and how you traverse it. The just the verticality of it as well, not just flat land, but just mountains you have to climb and areas you have to discover. It's incredible. It's just, I'm loving it. So I'll stop rambling. I'm gonna get back to playing it so I can finally make some more progress and get to the end of it and see how it all wraps up, because I'm looking forward already to start my next playthrough. I can see myself pumping hundreds of hours into this, multiple playthroughs. So guys, get out there, grab it if you're into the Souls game. Again, if you're a newcomer, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, but this game has incorporated a lot of stuff to kind of help new people out there. You know, you got the spirit summons, you got co-op you can get into to help you throughout the game. Just get a buddy to play with you, or summon someone to come help you out on certain levels, and yeah, you'll be good to go. Just learn it, and you'll be surprised what you can accomplish when putting time and practice into something. So anyways, I'm wrapping up. I'm rambling again. I'll catch you on the next one.